Welcome back, episode 15 of We Are Everywhere podcast. This next guest is one of my oldest and best friends, and we kind of started our Phish journey around the same time. I would even credit me and my Phish passion and how this whole thing started off to this guy. He's been there from day one, straight up from H Town. Mr. Jackson Lucas, what's up, dude?
Hey, Clayburg.
How are you?
Yeah. So in a way, I'm like responsible for this podcast.
Once I start getting some comp off of it, you'll have to get your residuals. So
Yeah. I need some damn royalties.
hmm
Yeah.
well, we're a long way from that, but whenever they start coming in,
Yeah. Let's not go with Spotify. Supposedly we'll get like pennies.
well,
Yeah.
we're on Spotify, we're on everything. We're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, we're on Apple
Okay. I didn't
Podcasts.
know it was on Spotify. I've always used YouTube.
Yeah, well, so the video portion is on YouTube.
Okay. I know everyone. I know 90% of the people that have been on here personally, and most of it very, very well. So the videos, like to me, is like
It's the extra layer I like a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. It makes it a little for us that like for myself in Houston, you yourself in Michigan.
hmm
A lot of our friends are all over the country now, which is a good thing,
Yeah,
families and jobs and progress.
yeah,
But we don't get to
absolutely.
see each other, so seeing each other talking about Phish is I get a kick out of it. I
Yeah,
enjoy it.
it's
Yeah,
it's pretty fun. And speaking of like how we've all kind of we started all in Oklahoma, and then we all just kind of like spread out and have our own lives going in different areas.
hmm
But the one spot that we always connect is Fish Dicks every year on Labor Day weekend, and
yeah.
I think because we have our group text going, we have multiple group texts
I was
going
about to say which
actually.
one.
So many at this point.
Jesus.
I think I'm in like 3 or 4 with you and
Yeah.
just like different people sprinkled in. But I think I'm the only one that snagged tickets through the lottery on this round. Did you get any tickets for Dick's this year or
No, I got shut out. I can't remember if I put Maddie in for the lottery as well to try to get tickets, and I think she got shut out. I can't
yeah.
remember. I know I did one of the last 2 years, but I definitely got shut out this year. And then Ticketmaster was just a utter failure of just
Yeah. Yeah.
unforeseen, just stumble and fall just in front of a huge crowd of people type
And it
failure.
and it gets worse every year, it feels like.
Oh,
I mean,
jeez.
especially with the Dick's run because it's turned into this, it's like the
Event.
show of
Yeah.
the year or shows. And this year there's
Yeah.
4 shows. I'm like, "Oh
Yeah.
my god, I'm already like dead after 3 like
Yeah.
4
Like
days."
I remember I was telling Maddie this. We went to go see Bon Iver, I
I
think
was
is
about to
how you
say,
correct.
doesn't it have a
Bon
little
Iver.
spice
Bon
on it?
Iver. Yeah. On a little spice. Little
Yeah.
spice. On Tuesday. Fantastic show, by the way. You should go. I mean, I think, embarrassingly enough, I think the first thing I heard from them was Maddie, which is my girlfriend,
Mhm.
roommate for everyone who on listening.
Girlfriend,
List,
roommate?
yeah, slash whatever you want to call her, coworker. We work together. And
Yeah.
it's a multifaceted relationship.
Yeah.
Uh, Playing like the new Taylor Swift album, which is actually pretty good. The one with him on it is a good track. It's a good track, Like I
Yeah.
never would be like, oh yeah, let's play that Taylor Swift song, but that song's like actually good,
Yeah.
Like what has become of me in my 30s? Uh,
Dude, I'm with you, especially, like, working in radio, pop
Oh, you're
radio,
exposed to everything, yeah,
everything, and it's like, you know, and you can attest to this too, like, growing up, like, we're super into music, like,
yeah,
the jazz with Miles Davis and The Dead and Fish, and, like, we pride ourselves on, like, this cool music taste we have, and
yeah.
early in our lives, you wouldn't be caught dead listening to, like, a Taylor
Oh,
Swift song or
never,
something like
never.
that,
And
but,
not
like,
to mention, like getting down to it a little bit,
it's a weird like realization that you have to like whenever you get older and like you let go of like the coolness of it,
The ego.
and then yeah, the ego exactly,
Yeah,
and you're like,
yeah.
yeah, this is a decent song. I have a Taylor Swift mug actually,
Yeah,
that was sent to me through like the record labels and stuff, and it's a decent sized mug, so I'm using that. I'm rocking a Taylor Swift mug a lot.
dude. Yeah. Hey, yeah. I think it makes you cooler,
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So I think it was on Tuesday we went, which everybody should go see. Should go see Bon Iver. It was really good. Especially I didn't even know a lot of their music. A few of the songs I didn't know, but it was like a Tuesday night. Been working, and we go. Luckily, it was in the neighborhood, and it's like a whole fiasco. Like, of course, we forgot the tickets, and then
Uh,
like we had to drive back, go get them. Luckily, it was in the neighborhood, and it was fine. But get in, and we're like, we hadn't eaten dinner. We're running late, and there's one thing after another. We get there, and we're like having the show. We're having a good time. We've eaten. We got the tickets. We're inside. I've got a few gin and tonics. We're feeling good, and Maddie is having a good time. I'm having a good time, and she's like, "Damn, I'm about to the point where I require a seat at a concert." And I was like, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So like night 4, what I'm going to back to is like night 4 of Dick's. Like I need a seat night 2 of Dick's. Night 4, I'm like, I need a cot.
yeah.
Like I need, I need something. You want a beer? No, I want a Red Bull. Yeah,
A Red Bull
yeah.
and a water.
And a
Yeah,
water. Yeah, get that 2 waters. Make that
yeah,
2 waters. I'm gonna need another one.
yeah,
And can I get like a valet person in the bathroom line? Because I'm gonna have to pee too. And I
yeah.
don't, and so
Yeah,
yeah,
we're
I
getting to
remember.
that. We're getting to that age to where, those boxes up top are looking more and more like appealing. Like,
Yeah, one of our
I'll pay
friends needs
for
to
them.
become uberly successful rather quickly, so we can, you know, lock that in. Pete needs to design some like killer homes or something cool or somebody, you know what I mean? Somebody needs to do so. You need to like hit it big on something, Clay. Somebody, I don't know.
One of us.
One of us has got to pull off something because I don't know how much longer I got in me. But I remember it was, and so I started telling Maddie this story whenever she told me that when we were talking about that on Tuesday night, and it was about Phish at MSG in it was New Year's run. I want to say it was when they did it was when Blaze On and Fuego were big. So it would have been 50, I want to say 15.
That album came out. When did that album come out?
It's around that time period.
Yeah, 14,
Um
14,
14, 15, 16, I was seeing
something like that.
a lot of Phish then. I think it was, I think 14 was when Toller, who was one of your, I think 3 guests
Hmm.
ago,
Yep.
him and I did Las Vegas Halloween that year when they did Ookie Spooky Sounds.
And that was when you guys did the Trailer Park Boys, right?
Yeah, we did, and Leonard was there, and
Yeah.
yeah, there was a bunch of us. I can't remember if Pugsley was there, um, and but Pete, like we were like wrapping up, it was like night 3 or something. We were like eating breakfast or something night 4, the last day of the New Year's run. And, we were all sitting around like eating and drinking Bloody Marys and, licking our wounds and trying to re-energize for the final night. And
Sure.
we were like, Pete and his wisdom and maturity is like, so gentlemen, like, how can we make this a better experience? Like, what have we learned here? Like, what should we do to like, can make it a better trip next year? Um, and I'm like, the first thing that comes out of my mouth is like chairs, because we did all 4 nights on the floor at MSG, and it was just like by night 4, and at the time it was 7, 8 years ago, so I was like 23, 24,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, I need a seat. Like I'm to the point, and that was like damn near 10 years ago. I was like, shit. Now I really need a chair.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's getting to the point to where like, and even this last Dick's run that we all did, I think I was the one that had floors all 4 nights. And so we did a lot of stubbing down to like get everybody on the floor. But I remember even like night 2, like second set, we're like looking up in the stands, like looking like, do we have any seat tickets like where we can all fit in, dude? Because
Yeah,
it's getting to be too much. And
I know.
we're
That,
and we're not even the oldest people at these shows. Like we're relatively young. There's some people that have been doing this since, the early 90s. I can't even imagine like
yeah,
all night on the floors.
Amy's Farm 88, and they're like, still raging like 10th row, like, oh, smoking cigarettes, like,
What are you doing?
what? Yeah, you're smoking clove cigarettes. How are you still, one, how are you still alive?
Yeah.
Two, how do you have more energy than me?
Yeah, dude. And it's like
Uh,
this thing, it's like what? At the time we're recording this, it's like 4:30 East Coast time and I'm still drinking coffee. It's like dude, it takes so much more. But granted, we've kind of lived fast and hard lives in our youth. So
yeah, I was about to say, we're also not we might be one of the younger people in the audience. We're also not in the best shape. Uh, you know?
we had a lot of abuse. But
Yeah.
let's get into some Phish. Like
All right.
I know your Phish story because I was there. But for everyone else listening, what was that moment for you that got you hooked on Phish? Like you hear them and you're like, oh my God, this is the shit. This is it.
Uh, yeah. So my Fish story, I was introduced to the band by a really close from Lang. You know Lang.
Yep.
We did Gorge 2016. That
16.
shitty, crappy Gorge show. Um, I think like one of the highlights that was like Farmhouse one night. We were like, oh,
We
ooh,
got farm. Yeah, dude.
yeah.
It was, and going into that, I was so pumped. This is my first time at the Gorge. And I'm like, this is gonna be great.
Yeah. You just moved to Oregon at the time.
Yeah.
Um, And so Lang went to college. She's a few years older than us. So she was in the college in the 90s, early 90s, mid 90s. And so her and Corey Cook, who he's also in radio, he's the one in San Antonio.
Okay, gotcha.
He works at KTRU.
Okay.
And they got me into Phish. I lived in Austin, and so I would spend the summers down there. My mom would drop me off down there, and I'd stay with them. And Lang's mom lived down there, which is my mom's like best friend, Ginny. I don't know if you've met Ginny.
Mm-mm.
Um, and they're big Fish heads, and they're going to see them. They were doing what we were doing in college when it was tight,
Right. Yeah.
and then so they got me into them, and I remember I was at Lang's apartment in Austin going through her CD collection, and I found Round Room was the album, and listening to Round Room, and I was like, oh, this is cool,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought it was cool just because Lang and Corey I just like idolized, and I was like, oh, well, this
Right.
is like anything that they like is cool, they're the coolest people I know.
Yeah.
Let me like drink beers at 13, like
Yeah.
and Corey's always been in a band. Lang was in radio her first like 15, 20 years of her career. So we're always like taking me to shows and
Mm-hmm.
backstage or like going to like roller derby in Austin and the early 2000s. Like it was
Sure.
cool. So like, oh yeah, get Jackson a keg beer, like
Yeah.
really they're letting me drink like one foamy beer at 13, and I'm like, oh
It's the
yeah.
coolest thing ever. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just idolize these people, and they're family to me. And the sorry, I'm selling an amplifier, and she's here. Maddie's gonna drop it off for me.
Okay.
You can sell anything on the internet, by the way.
Yeah. You can.
It's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I found Round Room and I liked it. And then I was, used to go to like CD stores. You still have record stores. There's still some CD stores and cassettes, stores up there. But I remember there was like these big not Blockbuster, but big box stores. Hastings was the one in,
Hastings.
in Ardmore.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Best Buy in a way.
Hastings had like it was like a mix of like a Barnes and Noble and like a Best Buy. Like you had everything like
Yeah,
books, CDs, like band
video
T-shirts.
games,
Yeah,
band T-shirts. Yeah, that's a great description. I'm sure they're out of business now.
they have to
Amazon,
be.
yeah, Amazon. and I found Phish live in Brooklyn. And this was freshman. I think it was freshman year of high school when I bought it, or sophomore year of high school. Because see, was Brooklyn 03 or
Yeah,
04?
it
One of
was
the two.
it was 03.
03, yeah. So the CD I think came out in 04.
04. It probably
Because we
probably
graduated at high school in 09.
yeah.
So, and I bought it freshman or sophomore year. And I remember, so it really, I was like, okay, cool. Like Laying and Corey. And then I found Round Room. That was the first one that I really liked. Um, and so I was like, oh, I'm going to buy this Phish CD. And that was my first like live Phish that I'd really heard and bought on my own. Um, and it was free.
Dude, it's so hold on. I have to tell you, this is so funny. I was just on, or I say I was just on. It's been a couple of months ago at this point, but on Sirius XM Fish Radio, I reached out to Ari and I got to cut a crowd control. It's where you get to pick like 5 songs and like talk into them or whatever. And one of the songs that I picked, and I talked about you on this show.
Oh, you did?
And I'm so glad that you brought up the Live in Brooklyn, because that was the first song that I started out in my set, was the Free off of that. And I was like, I said something along the lines of, because I still have your Live in Brooklyn CD.
You bastard. I want that back.
I have it. And I was like, my Phish journey started out off of a stolen CD. I was like, sorry, Jackson, I'll have to get this back to you at some point. I was like, but this song is what hooked me and got it started. And it's free. Dude, it's so funny that you brought that up, because that's like the same song, that like got us like going, because we would listen to that, whether it was in your Mustang or in my little red truck. Like that was in one of our CDs.
Or the green truck.
The green truck, I had that for like 2 weeks.
We gotta tell that story.
Yeah, we can. But yeah, dude, hearing you bring that up, I was like, dude, this is hilarious. Like, because it's that one CD that you bought and then I stole. Like
Yeah.
the same song off of it is what, like, the Free, dude. Whenever Mike comes in with that,
Oh, so good.
it's so good. That's probably the jam that I've listened to the most out of Phish in my entire life, because it was just on repeat.
It's and that another track that I like off that is the song I heard the ocean sing on there.
Mm-hmm.
Is good.
That whole show's good.
The whole show's good. One of the most probably unpopular things I'll say on this show is I feel like, back then, like I loved Possum. Now after 3.0 Phish, like Possum to me, it's like, all right, they're going to play it every other song. Like every 3 songs, they're going to play Possum. Like, oh, no, it's a great song. I'm not saying
it's a
that,
layup
just,
for them.
yeah. And it's a great song and it's fun. And you and I like jamming down back roads, like skipping class, jamming Possum, super loud out of our crappy car stereos, probably just like disturbing the deer and the possums, and like it was all, but now it's like, all right, I've heard Possum literally probably like 67 times. It's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Stop.
Do you have that app still, the Helping Friendly app, where like you can put all your shows in and it tells you all your stats and stuff?
I don't have that, but I have Phish.net. I try to log them in Phish.net.
Gotcha. I think that app is looped through Phish.net, and I think it's like the same thing.
I think you're right. Now that you say that.
I would be curious to how many times because you've seen a significant amount of more shows than I have. So I would be curious to see how many times you've seen Possum, or what the song you've seen the most is.
Yeah, I mean, I have a microcomputer in my hand. I can look.
Microcomputer.
The iPhones are nuts. So, but the problem with things like this is I never remember my passwords to anything.
Oh my God, dude. And that's the worst, especially with like, because everything you log in one time and then you save it and you set it and forget it. And then like, if you get a new phone or if something happens where you get logged out, you're like, I set this password whenever I was 16 years old. Like, I have no idea how to get into this now.
Yeah, no, I have no idea. And like resetting, I wonder, Oh wow, I haven't put shows in my. Well, there were no shows in 2020. That's why. Um,
2021.
2021. Yeah, but I think the only shows I saw
Dicks.
were Dicks.
Those were the only ones that I. No. I hit Deer
You at
Creek.
Deer Creek, which
Yeah.
was good, way better than anything we
Yeah.
saw at Dicks.
Yeah.
Was
Deer
that
Creek was
first night
awesome.
at first night at Deer Creek was good.
Yeah, that's simple.
Well, I don't have. I'm not going to put it in here,
All
but
good. You don't have to worry about it.
no, I'm not going to add in Possum for Dicks. But let's just. I know they played Possum at Dicks. Without, I don't remember it, but I know it.
Rolling the dice on it.
It's not as many times as I thought. It's only 21. I've actually seen Harry Hood more than anything else.
That's mine too, Harry Hood.
And then,
which I'm okay with.
Yeah,
it's a great song to see live.
Yeah, especially back in the day.
Back in the day.
I'm trying to see how many shows I've seen now. Okay, 84.
You're at 84.
No,
I think after this summer, because I'm seeing them at DTE or Pine Knob, excuse me. We're going to that show, and then I've got tickets to Dick's. So I think after this run, I'll be at 59.
Okay. How many of those have you seen with me? 50?
At least 50. Yeah. Yeah, because whenever I first started, I mean, it was every show that I went to
together.
Yeah, we were together. So
yeah, I mean, other than because I went to those Gorge shows in 09. Those were my first two shows.
Okay, so your first shows were 09 Gorge.
Yeah, right before we went to college, because you and I graduated high school in May of 09. Big town America, Oklahoma. Guys, our towns are so big that they're not even on the map.
They're on the map.
Yeah.
But like I graduated because we went to high school together for a little while.
Yeah, that's where we should talk about that first.
Yeah, so
because that goes back to Brooklyn.
Yeah, it does. So I'm originally from a small town called Pauls Valley and moved to a slightly bigger town called Ardmore in Oklahoma.
Big city.
Big city, about 45 minutes south. And that's where we met. And I only went there for 1 year. I think it was our sophomore year.
It was sophomore year because I remember we met in sophomore English, Miss Parham's class.
Parham, yes.
Yeah, she was a nice lady. She was nice.
She was.
She was a good teacher.
Hold on. What was the math teacher's name? Because that's where
Miss Vernon. No, Miss Kavner.
Yeah, Kavner. That.
Oh, she hated me.
I felt so bad for her.
Remember when she made my mother come sit in class next to me?
That was the worst class because it was like me, you, Grayson.
You and Grayson struggled, and I would just mess with you guys. Yeah. Math. I mean, I do math for a living now. Like math is easy for me.
Yeah, and I'm like the exact opposite. Dude. I can't like.
I'd be back there.
On the daily, like I count on my fingers still. Like math is not my strong suit. So we'd be trying to like everything we got to like do long division or whatever you learn in high school math, and like you're over there already disrupting the fuck out of class because you've got like an A+ and like do your work in like 5 minutes, and everyone else is like, okay, carry the 7, take that down. Like trying so hard to like not fail the class, and you're just like poking us in the back, acting like whatever.
Oh yeah, I remember that. We won't go into that.
But. Yeah, that was a rough class.
And so
I remember Matt Fox walked in like day one.
First day.
He walked in and saw everybody that was in there and was like, nope, I can't.
Nope. Turned around and went straight to the guidance counselor and was like, I can't be in this class. And she's like, it's the first day. And he's like, Jackson's in there, Clay's in there, Brewster's in there, Gray's in there. And she was like, yeah, you can't be in that class. And just like moved them like that.
It would have been that much worse, dude.
No.
It's a wonder I even made it out of that.
Yeah, you might still be there.
Yeah. Who knows what I made?
Yeah. She just passed you out of fear that you'd be back. But I remember we met because you're cousins with one of my best friends, Natalie,
Mm-hmm.
and you'd moved to town. And I remember we were on AOL or MSN Messenger or one of those, like,
Yep.
not like chat rooms, but where you
MySpace,
add
maybe.
people.
It might have been
MySpace.
MySpace.
No, it was a chat
Oh,
thing. I think
okay.
it was MSN Messenger,
Yeah.
where
That
it
was,
wasn't like a chat room, but it was like you added people's,
you
like,
add your friends. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And we were talking one night and we were on MySpace, but like I remember we were actively talking on MSN and you were like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm listening to Phish or something like that." And you were like, "Oh, you like Phish?" Like, and at the time, I don't think you were that. You knew who they were, but I don't know. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't.
No, it was very because like I went through like in high school, I went through a phase of like we'll call it like a hippie phase, where I'm like listening to like a bunch of classic rock and like growing my hair out,
You love Led Zeppelin.
yeah, like finding out like where to like score like shitty weed, like that was
Yeah.
like where I was into, and so I'm like looking up everything that's like quote unquote hippie related, and I come across like Fish on Napster or whatever. And so I just like download like a bunch of random songs. Don't really, I wouldn't say that I'm like into them at this
Keep
point. I'm just
talking.
like,
I'm turning on. I'm plugging in my charger. Give me
all right, yeah,
5 seconds.
yeah. And I remember being like downloading whatever songs were just like on Napster. I think the infamous Gin and Juice was labeled on that.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so I had like a very small understanding of the band and like some of their songs, but didn't really like dive in until um later on whenever we were talking about the live in Brooklyn and hearing like the live Fish, and it's like, oh, and then it kind of like starts to click and it's like, okay, this is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, and I remember you got so excited whenever I told you that, and you're like, "Oh," and so then we started hanging out. I was like, "Okay, this kid's cool."
Mm.
Um, that I'm texting McCormick's at my house. I'm telling him to wrap this. For everyone, I have an active pork butt on the smoker right now, barbecuing. It should come off like 20 minutes ago, and we've been talking. I'm gonna text Brian and ask him to wrap it up in foil for me so we can keep this chat going.
Yeah, if you
Um,
need to, you can go wrap it or take it or whatever,
I'd
because like,
rather just keep this fluid conversation going
yeah,
at all costs, just for the flow of it. But
yeah,
and so then we started hanging out. I remember putting that CD. You drove that. Neither one of us could drive at the time. I don't think.
nope, it
Uh,
was right, it was like right at the
right
beginning.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
we were
yours
like,
is your birthday's September, right?
yep.
Yeah, and because you turned 16, oh, he said, "Cool, he'll do it. It's awesome." So you turned 16 real early,
Hmm.
and so we had a car soon. Well, uh,
For a minute. For
for a
2 weeks.
minute, for 2 weeks. That's another great story.
Oh my god.
And we drive around, listen to that live in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
and that's when you and I became friends.
Yeah, we would just
Fish
drive
was
around listening to
Fish was on
Fish.
hiatus at the time.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
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 because we didn't really have a chance and to see them until '09. Yeah, so it was one of those things to where it was so early, and like I don't even think at that point it like registered like, oh, they're on a hiatus, or I didn't really know that much about them. I was just like, oh, this is a fucking cool ass like sound. This is a cool ass band, and we'd
yeah.
skip, like you said, skip class and ride around and dip snuff and listening
Put
to
dips
Fish
in, and yeah, yeah.
and just
To give
listening to
everybody
Fish.
context, our height, the big town that Clay moved to, had 88 people in its graduating class.
Yeah,
So
90. Yeah, 88,
yeah,
90. Yeah,
yeah. No, it was 88. I remember. Yeah,
yeah. It
yeah.
was
It
super
was
small.
89, and then Clay left.
Yeah, it was a very small town, and like small town Oklahoma, like you like
You and
whenever
I
you
stuck out like a sore thumb, driving around listening to Fish. Like people
yeah,
were like, "What is this BS?
what are them
Eat
hippies
it?
doing?
Yeah, the hippies are back. I thought Vietnam was over."
Yeah,
You
yeah, but
know?
that's where it all started, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and to think at this point, whenever you brought up Toller earlier,
Hmm.
whenever he was on, he made like a really good point that kind of blew my mind about the band because you could classify us or people that have only been seeing Phish since 3.0 as like noobs or whatever, because the band has been playing for so long. But at this point, like in time, Phish has been playing in 3.0 as long as the 1.0 era.
Hold on.
Yeah, so we already talked about who's good at math here. So like break
All
that
right.
down.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. Well, it's close. It's close because you don't get to count 2020.
Yeah. But basically,
or do you get to count 2020?
That's a whole new era.
He is the auditor, so
yeah. But he's the one that brought it up, and I was like, "Holy shit, dude, that is bizarre!" Like they've been playing in
I
this
haven't put
new
that
era.
in perspective. That is crazy.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, man. It's
We're definitely fortunate. Like you had Leonard on, Pugsley on, and like they did have a cool opportunity to see some 2.0 fit. Then they're like most of their collegiate career, if not all of their collegiate career, there was no Phish.
Right.
So when you and I were, saving up money, remember when you and I mowed yards together, like making $8 an hour or something, $6 an hour or something. I don't remember. Saving up all our money and like just being like, all right, school's out. Hey, yard guy, we're gonna go on vacation for a week. Oh, you're not gonna let us? Okay, we'll go get another hour job because we're 19 years old. We don't care, and we're gonna go see Phish like every weekend that we could for college and New Year's and do whatever. They didn't get to do any of that, so you and I are definitely very fortunate in that regard.
Yeah, we hit like the perfect storm because, even taking it back to high school, like you can't just like pick up in high school and be like, "Oh yeah, no, we're going to take a road trip to Deer Creek." Like parents
they're like,
"You're not?"
No, you're not.
But having that
you can drive to Paul's Valley.
Yeah. You can drive to Paul's Valley and wreck your car if you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, we really did hit a perfect storm of being in college and having that freedom, and the band is back fresh, if that's what you want to call it, back fresh. But yeah,
they were definitely fresh.
Yeah, they were definitely fresh.
09 through 11 were rough.
Yeah, but
11 had some good stuff towards the end, if I remember correctly. But 12 is when things really started picking up.
12 and then 13. I remember 13 being like, that was like the year of the Carini. Like there were so many like really good
dark
Carinis.
Which the dark Carinis, it's Carini, so there's always some dark,
Sure.
But yeah, the dark people that are if you know,
yeah. I feel like everyone listening to this knows.
Yeah, I love being at shows and the people that are talking a whole bunch, and then the choppers are like the people with like face paint and you know what I mean, like
doing the weird stuff.
For apology tie-dye shirt to this concert, Urban, is that Urban Outfitters? And then like Carini comes on and just like slams into him in the second set. Like,
isn't rainbow and butterflies anymore.
yeah, exactly.
That's the best.
God, what a great song.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites for sure. Talking about this is a perfect segue too, because referencing like the band's been playing just as long or almost as long in 3.0 as 1.0. There's so many different eras and years, like referring to like the 1.0 years, there were so many changes. Like 03 is so different, or 93 is so different than like 94 and like 95. You can really see like the progression and the change within the band,
especially in those early years. So 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, what is your favorite year of Phish, you would say? It's a good question. I think it's a loaded question.
It is.
I think, I would say that, and it's kind of changed with me over time. I mean, my connection with Phish has changed over time. I'm sure a lot of people have gone through that too. And more than just like, okay, I'm listening to a lot of this now or a lot of that now, or I'm into
Mm-hmm.
this style of jamming or this song, these songs, or this, But I think, when I first got into Phish, I was really, really into like Machine Gun Tray 94.
Yeah.
Fall 94 to me, I think musically it's so tight, it's so good. The Obviously 95 is arguably probably their one of their most skilled
Mm-hmm.
years musically. 97 is fun. I mean, you can't.
Yeah.
97. I mean, 97 fall 97 would have been a great tour to be on in Phish history.
I know.
And those Europe runs right there, booking in that kind of era, that funk era, are special. But one thing that I got into, so I would say probably it's a toss up to me between, if you were to think about the whole year from Jan 1 to December 31st, what is my favorite? I would probably have to say 94 or 97. But I mean, I feel disrespectful almost not saying 95, but I don't know, man. It's tough.
It's hard, yeah. But
But
dude, 94, and there's so many shows that were played. Like,
I know.
it's the amount of, I mean, it's like that basic rule, like the more content that you put out, the better chance you have of hitting. The more shows you play, the better you're going to get each time. And Trey was just on like whatever was going through his mind or his life at that point. Like, he was ripping, like he
Ripping.
was mad at something. Like, he had
Yeah.
something going on in his life where he was like, I'm taking it out and I'm playing every fucking note that I can, and I'm
Oh,
gonna make
dude.
you wet.
Reba, Halloween 94.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Would you say that that's your favorite jam of all time?
Reba 94
Yeah. What is your
or
favorite jam of all
Halloween.
time?
So I knew you were going to ask me this question. My dad just got here.
Really?
Yeah. Brian, I've got a house full. Brian's in town. Brian flew in this morning. My dad just showed up.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time to do this. I know.
Yeah, no, I've been wanting to do this. And so I would say, so I knew you were going to ask this. So I was like, okay, I didn't know you were going to ask me number one. So I was like, okay, I'm going to document my top 5 in my notes so I don't
Okay.
just sit here and ramble like I did to your question about the favorite year. And I won't read you all of them, but I was like, I'm going to do 5. I was like,
Yeah, do
okay.
5. Top 5.
And my list right now of my top 5 is 22. There's 22 songs on my top 5 that
That
I
you wrote
listed
down?
out.
Okay. So either
So
pick randomly or the actual top 5 that you've got from those 22.
so what I will do is I will read you the first 5 that I wrote down.
Okay.
Okay. So I did Atlanta Ghost 97, Boise
Solid.
Bag 99, Radio City Ghost 2000, Twist Japan 2000, Dick's Light 2012.
Yeah. That's a
And
solid top 5.
yeah, so because the one thing I got into later into Phish, I think we were already out of college because I remember in the group text you mentioned this group text. I know on the Toller one, I've listened to the Toller episode twice now because I love Toller. He's the funniest person to ever live.
He is.
I love that guy, and I'm sure you and Riggs and you and Leonard talked about it. You and Blake talked about it. The group text that's been around and it's been around longer than that, guys. Because we were in college. You and I were living on. It was when Toller got sniped out at. We were in that group text together.
Yeah.
When Wu Tang played Norman Music Festival.
Outcast.
Outcast, yeah, and Outcast, and
What a disaster.
so that was, and I've been in Houston 8 years, so that was pushing 10 years.
Yeah, it's been
It's
long.
since then though, since college. So in the last years, I got really into like late night 99 2000 Phish, I think, is like a dark horse that doesn't get a lot of attention. That is just so epic. Because
And Trey's tone in those years, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of people that can nerd out on like the tech and stuff and be like, "Oh yeah, no, he was using this pedal and running through this process or
yeah,
whatever." I don't know about any of that shit. I just know
yeah,
that his tone in like 99, 2000 is unmatched. Like that is
yeah.
like so I don't even know the word. It's amazing.
And they're patient. It's a little bit, tempo's a little different than definitely different than like 94. Obviously, that's an extreme, but
Yeah.
um, it's spacey, it's dark. The tempo's a little slower. Because even some, there's a lot of like patient type 2 like funk jams from like 97, 96, 98, but that 99 2000 stuff is it's special in my opinion. I think it gets overlooked. Maybe just our group of friends and stuff, we don't talk about it as much. So maybe other people out there are crazy about it.
Sure.
But so I'm just in my relatively small, exposure. But yeah, it's awesome.
It is. It's yeah, and the 99 2000 like you can tell you can almost tell it's almost like a foreshadowing like whenever like leading up to like the breakup cuz 99 you could exclude that probably. But like those early 2000s like you can start to tell something's like it's so different like with the spaced out and like long jams that like don't really like go any it's just more of it's
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
for like
Thank you, Purdue Pharma.
God.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you can kind of like tell like okay, something's off, like something's
Purdue
this
Pharma was on. Yeah.
yeah, but
That's gonna be if that is the most politically incorrect statement I make during this entire podcast, that is such a win for me.
it would be okay. But yeah, there was some farmies for sure influencing what was happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those eras to where if you haven't really taken a deep dive, and you nailed it perfectly, it's overlooked. I feel like a lot, or maybe
In
people are
my
just like turning a blind eye to it of like this isn't happening, this isn't
yeah,
happening.
yeah.
Yeah,
Turn their nose up to it,
yeah,
I wasn't
exactly.
turning their nose up, that wasn't. Yeah.
That could have went a few different ways.
Yeah, no, I was yeah. Camden 99 is epic.
Oh yeah,
I think another so talking about a sleeper within a sleeper era, which I was talking about it in the group text a few weeks ago. I was out at the golf court. One of my big thing is like I don't really listen to music while I work anymore. I guess I'm too ADHD. I get too distracted. Like if I'm concentrating on something,
sure.
if I'm like reading something, I'll throw on an album. I got a speaker in my office and I'll blast music. But I mostly blast stuff that like if somebody walks in, they're not like, what the hell is this guy listening to?
Yeah,
So like I'll put on like Allman Brothers or
sure.
like The Dead or something like
Taylor Swift.
yeah, T Swift, dude, just getting it. Rolling Stones,
Yeah,
something that I can just turn down a little bit, and they're not like,
yeah, yeah.
like,
Here's some crazy well calls.
yeah. Oh, ooh. And I love that Toller brought that up. I know you guys didn't think it was that bad. Go listen to it. It's bad.
It's bad.
But that like birds of a feather in that Camp 99 show is I think is sleeper.
Yeah.
So one of the things I'll do is like I'll go to obviously we're talking about it about just like kind of how you listen to Phish and the it's all a lot of times. So I need to blow off steam, or I'll go to do two things. I'll go to the golf course and put in headphones and hit golf balls for 2 hours by myself, and just like be outside, not answer my phone, listen to music, and just like get some physical exertion out. Or I'll go walk the dog, just go on a long walk with the dog.
Yeah.
And I always just put on a set.
Yeah.
And don't touch it. I don't want to be on my phone. If I'm on my phone, I'm getting emails, I'm getting texts, I'm getting phone calls. There's something work related is happening. So it's like an escape, whole set, and listen to it all the way through,
Yeah.
And most of the time I'll listen to eras. The Dead and Phish are who I listen to the most when I'm there. And that Camden 99 show, and I was like, what is this? Like, I just lost track, and this jam was awesome. And I was, what the hell is this? So I went to my golf bag and pulled my phone out, and it was Birds of a Feather from that Camden 99 show. And I was like, texting you guys. I was like, God, it's just, because I think it's a tweezer, the tweezer from Camden, and then there's is it a gin in the first set that everyone's crazy about, or a ghost? Something's in the first set,
know.
and then I think it's a gin, and then I know it's a tweezer that starts off the second set that everyone. That's like the focus of that release. But the Birds, I was like, so there's I like finding little gems like that,
Yeah, and it's one of those ways to listen to Phish to where you feel like you're discovering something, even if like it's one of the top rated jams like of all time. Like if you just happen across it like that, like I remember that happened for me with a what was it? Oh, it was the Reba from 95. The very first show played in 95. I think it's 5/16/95, and there's a
Okay,
Reba.
I don't know if I'm familiar.
It's one of those ones to where like I discovered it the same way. Like I would just like put on, randomly picked a show or whatever and put it on and was driving down the road. And like, I was like, oh my God. I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like, this is like the best Reba I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And I do the same thing, get in the group text, and it's immediately like, I think Blake was the one who's like, oh, that's overrated. You need to listen to this. And I was like, dude, I just found this one. It like made me cry.
Yeah.
It's so
Give me
awesome.
a minute. Give me a minute.
Yeah. But I love, just like what you said, I love listening to Phish like that and just happening across things, even if they're like some of the best jams of all time, and everyone knows about it. Finding it like that, you feel like you found like a little diamond in the rough,
Yeah. Like when was the last time you went and listened to Boise 99 from start to finish, the entire show? You know what I mean? It's like, and that's just how I don't sit around and just like, I used to sit around and all right, I'm going to listen to every show of 97 from start to finish in the next month and a half, at 22 years old. And like be able to just like spout off like, oh, fast forward to 7:43 and this and like, no, dude, this is not there anymore. Like, I don't have time to go listen to like, sure, I've listened to I think every show from 93 to 2000 that's available, and I remember like doing that in my early 20s. I'm like, oh, but dude, like Blake though, Blake can remember that stuff like crazy. He's always had that memory.
Yeah.
And that's just not me. And I don't have that. I don't have the time or the energy really to like go really dead. So like, that's just what I do now is I like put on a show and I'm like, oh, I haven't heard this show in forever. Or it's like, oh, I know like, Auburn Hills, 97. That's a great show. I think it's the tweezer, right?
The Tweezabella.
No.
Tweezer into Isabella.
Yeah, Auburn Hill 97. Yeah, Tweezabella. Yeah. That's right.
Dude, they just tore that venue down.
Really?
Last year, yeah.
That venue has a Epic 99 show too.
Yeah, it's right down the road. It's
really?
Like an hour away from here. Yeah, they tore it down.
The 99 Gin 2001 Yim second set. There's a 5-song. I think it's like Boogie. I can't remember what the second song is, but then it's like Gin 2001 Yim. So I guess I do remember little things, but like Blake, dude, he can rap stuff off. But like it's like Tweezabella 97. That's a good show. I remember that. All right, I'm just gonna listen to it from start to finish. Like I've got 4 hours that I'm gonna be doing yard work or on the golf course or on a car ride, go see my parents or something. And so it's like, it's kind of fun because you rediscover things like that.
Exactly. Rediscover. That's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
We've talked about jams, favorite jams and songs that we like. Let's flip it on its head. What is one Phish song or a couple of Phish songs that you would be okay with never hearing again?
This list might be longer than
anything that came out in 3.0.
No, there's some, dude. I love Sigma Oasis.
Dude, that's
I listen to it on studio. Like I have it on LP, and my record players in between my living room and my kitchen, like open concept floor plan. Small house, so they just knock down on the wall. So if you're in my house and you're listening to music, like everyone can hear it. It's like 1,900 square feet. So I'll like throw stuff on like that, like barbecuing, cooking, friends over, like throw on, like I want to listen to Phish. Nobody else wants to hear New Year's '95. You know what I mean? When we're watching a football game or something.
Right.
So I'll put on Sigma Oasis all the time. It's a crowd pleaser
And it's
for
the best album
non-fans
they've put out
since you and I have
Yep.
been of age. To me, like
100%.
Yeah, Shade. Every time I hear Shade, I cry. You know,
It's a good song, dude.
It's such a good song.
I love that song.
I know. But okay, so back to the question. I would say I don't like Kill Devil Falls. I don't like Stealing Time. Stealing Time's okay. It's a first setter. It's okay. Backwards Down the Number Line is just atrocious. God.
Yeah.
The Line is terrible.
Oh, The Line. Yeah. I forgot about The Line.
One of the songs that's actually, I remember when it first came out, when Joy came out, Time Turns Elastic, they were playing a whole bunch. You know, they were trying, it's never going to be Theme from the Bottom or any of those composers, but they played it, they overplayed it, Ryan, and everyone was so like, Phish had just come back. We wanted all of them, you know, we wanted them to play 32-minute David Bowies and shit. You know, like I want a 28-minute tweezer where I'm like crawling up the grandstand afterwards because I'm so worn out from dancing.
Right.
So like I don't want Time Turns Elastic. But they played it recently, I think, in this last tour.
No, they played it. I think what you're referring to is the New Year's show that
the
got
Cube
canceled.
or 10th Cube or a Ninth Cube or
yeah. They played it there, and it was not too.
It was
bad.
good.
Yeah,
it was good. Yeah, it was like, oh, cool. Like once every 4 years, this is pretty badass.
Yeah,
once a year is probably okay. As much as Possum is terrible, not acceptable. So yeah. I would say those. I'd say those three are probably my lead, and I think probably because I've heard them so much because of when you and I started seeing a lot of Phish, and when they came out. Yeah,
they were in heavy rotation.
Yeah, Cole, shut up. You know, that is stupid.
Yeah. What is, and I'm thinking about, let's go this route. Out of all the shows that you've seen, you said what, you're 84, 85 at this point?
Yeah, I can't remember, but it was something. Yeah.
Out of all of those shows, what is the one song that you've been chasing that you haven't seen yet?
Wow. You know the answer to this song. You can say it. I don't know.
Was it Brother?
Oh.
Yeah. Are we ever gonna get a Brother?
Not if I'm there. Like, so you know how like a lot of friends, they do like fantasy football together and you know, March Madness drafts and stuff. Well, we always do like, all right, pick your top 5 jams and thing, and then we're gonna do what your bust out, and you get all these points. And normally Pete organizes it, you know, and like I feel like you or Pete, or really I think Pete and Toller probably always win. But like we always do that, you know, and I pick Brother every time as like my number one seed, number 1 points, and then everyone's like, "You're never gonna win." I'm like, I don't care because I'm gonna get one time, you know.
Yeah. And has there ever been any moments or times? Because I'm not super familiar with the last time that they played Brother, but in your experience of like going to shows and stuff, have they ever like played Brother like a show or two before a show that you were going to be at, to where you're like, God damn it?
Yeah, they've played it. There was, I think it was Randall's Island, New York, where they played it on Father's Day. They played it like 2 or 3 years in a row, maybe more, on Father's Day. They don't play it very often, so it's not like I'm chasing it's not like I'm chasing a melt, and I've just never seen a melt out of 85 shows or anything like that. But excuse me. But yeah, there's been a few Father's Day shows that I've missed that they played it at.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I'm confident that you're going to get tickets to Dick's and be able to hit that. And 2, I'm confident that we're going to get a brother at Dick's. There's 4 nights.
They have to.
They have to. 4 nights. Come on. What are you going to do? You
Yeah.
miss the line?
Oh, they will. Yeah. The bathroom line.
Yeah, the bathroom line. It's a good tie-in.
Yeah.
All right, before we wrap up, I'll let you get back to your pork butt and your family's there and stuff. What are some of your favorite memories or a standout memory from tour?
From tour. Trying to think of things I went on the internet. I remember one time. So our friend Gunner, him and I alone went to Magna Ball or Super Ball.
Super Bowl, yeah.
Toller and Pete and Gunner and I went to Magna Ball. We went to Super Bowl. We were young. We were like 21, 20.
You guys, it was just you and Gunner that went to that?
We camped out with a bunch of Weekapog people.
Gotcha.
And like George and Scott and I think Gavin was there. A bunch of people. You would know half the people that were there.
Sure.
Neely was there, and it was the last night, and they played Tweezer the last night, and we're 21 years old. We're partying, having a ball, and I'm like, come on, Gun. I think it's Gunner's. Like Gunner went with us to Mike's birthday song show where they played Tila, they played Lizards, DTE. It was DTE.
Yeah, DTE. Yep.
And then we went to Cuyahoga, or I can't remember what we did that summer.
Yeah,
but
we did like a little 6-show run or something like that.
Yeah, and then we later that summer we went to Super Bowl alone, and so Gunner had seen like 7 shows, 6 shows.
Mm-hmm.
He was still very new, and wasn't too familiar with music. And they started playing Tweezer. I'm like, just grab Gunner, and we're in the back. You know me, I like to be close, but not. I like some room, and I'm gonna find a speaker with good sound, and I'm gonna have some room. And,
right.
I need a beer and a bathroom very close to me, and I don't like to be. I don't like challenges. And I just grabbed Gunner and just take off running as fast as I can.
What, to the back?
No, to the front.
Oh, to the front. Okay.
And it's just like glow stick hell. It is like Kiev, Ukraine, like just like, and and I'm just like running, and I'm like grabbing Gunner, and we get all the way up, and we're like, I don't even remember if the tweezer was good. I was just like I was at a lifetime high, just like having a blast with Gunner, and we're dancing, and then it's over, and it's and then fireworks start going off, even the encore, and they hadn't played Yim. And I was like, oh, it's not over, dude. They're going to play Yim. They're going to end on Yim, And they just like walked off the stage. And I was just like, oh, well, fuck me. Go get fucked, little kid. Like, oh, God.
Like, damn.
And then I think that same time, actually that same trip, one of my other favorite memories is with Gunner, is we got on for the storage sec jam. I think it's what it's called. A storage jam, hidden jam from Super Bowl.
Oh, that wouldn't be the flatbed. The flatbed truck. That was
that was
Clifford Ball.
No, that was Went. I don't know. We weren't there. We were this big, and I can't. Blake would know. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, and it's 47 minutes and 13 seconds long."
He knows all the stats. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike was wearing Air Jordans.
Yeah.
And that kid's memory is impressive.
It really is.
And but we got on. We realized what was happening, and we ran straight to the Ferris wheel, which was right next to where they were playing in the secret set at 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And we got on the Ferris. We had beer. We just bought, and we got in the Ferris line wheel, and it was like, how much does it cost? They were like, I remember the time it was like something outrageous to us, like it's $15, and at the time it's like, oh, $15,
Yeah.
we're like, screw it, let's do it. And we got on this Ferris wheel, and then they started, and so we just watched the Ferris, and so then we were like one of the first ones on, and so not only do we get to see almost the whole thing, but since we were one of the first ones on, we got to like go up and up and up while they loaded everyone else on before they started the deal. So we got like 20 minutes. It felt like a half an hour. I'm sure it was 12 minutes or something,
Sure.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
And we just sat there on the Ferris wheel and drank our crisp, cold draft beers in that
Watching
Ferris
Phish.
wheel, and just like it, and all they did was jam.
That's awesome.
And that was really cool.
That's a
Really cool.
standout memory for sure, dude. Like,
Yeah.
because how many people can say, only a handful can say that they've watched Phish on a Ferris wheel, pounding
Yeah.
brewskis. Like that's
Yeah, with
pretty
a cold beer, not just a beer, a cold draft
cold
beer. Draft beer. Yeah, so
That's
it's
awesome.
like, yeah, I mean, I think one of the things before we leave, I think that I don't know about much on the show, but I think it's super important, especially as we get older, that I love Phish so much for almost more. It's not why I got into the band. What I love and treasure about Phish now is completely different than what got me into the band in the beginning. And I still love the band for the musicianship and the jam. I mean, I'm here for the jams, right? But
Sure.
2.0 jams, but or type 2 jams. But the thing I like about Phish and treasure the most now is like all of us. We hinted on at the beginning. It was like all of us. We're talking about all these stories. We have all these inside jokes. We got these damn group texts. I'm sure AT&T hates our group texts. And during Phish tour, clogging down servers at AT&T corporate, and but the thing that's so special about it now is like we all live different places. We all have such different lives. We are married, we're divorced, we have children. We have stepchildren. We have whatever the family situation is or personal situation. We've got people in all different stages of life and successes in life and so forth, and states, but we all get to like come together for Phish, and it takes us all across the country, see cool new things, try new restaurants, try new breweries. We always go to, weirdly enough, a whole bunch of us hippies always go to museums when we're in town. Like we do cool stuff. We've got some people in our crew that, like Pete, Hunter, and that research out and take us to Golden Gate Park and Bill Graham shows, and we go walk around the AIDS Memorial and like have a picnic and like do cool stuff, but we get to spend that time together, which is brings us all together, and we all love each other and care for each other, and we all talk it all the time. But it's those moments that it's like, oh, well, it's bigger than just type 2 funk jams. It's like, this is a band I love, but also like my friends and family that I love, and so it keeps that alive, which is hard to do the older you get. So that's a very special part about Phish that I think should not go unrecognized.
Yeah, and it really is. I mean, we're talking about our specific group, but like there's
for everyone.
Yeah, for everyone. That's really, especially like the people that are a little bit older, because what you just touched on it. Whenever you're young, you can just like pick up and like go, oh yeah, no, yeah, we're gonna go see Phish here and there, here. That's how it all starts for everybody. But in our older age, like the camaraderie, like getting together with all your friends where you normally wouldn't,
Yeah,
it is really special. It's like a
absolutely
family reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah. PH family.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'll let you get back to your pork butt and your family and the Masters. I see you got your little bear golf hat on there.
Yeah. Shout out to @NolaDead on Instagram. You should check them out.
That's pretty cool. But yeah, thanks for taking the time. This one was a long time coming, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you at Dick's.
All right, man. I love you, buddy.
Love you too.
All right, bye.
Bye.